Welcome to the Hellmouth. Hope everybody is 5 by 5. And my name is Ketrin Porter. I'm part of the powerhouse duo that is Kim and Ket Stay Alive. And to my left, your right, is my handsome hero of a husband that puts up with me in all of my iterations and without whom I would not exist to this day. Give it up for Eric Lane, Porter Martin, cat dad of the century.
That was fun. Thank you so much.
How was it?
Hi. It was fantastic. You're hired.
Thank you.
We are here to talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is Major Slayage, by the way. Ket Arik rewatch Buffy the Vampire
right.
Slayer.
Forgot about that.
That's all right. They know what they're watching.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 3, Episode 8, Lover's Walk.
Yep.
Is it A Lover's Walk? The Lover's Walk?
I don't know. It's a fantastic episode. I hate it.
This episode's phenomenal. Probably my favorite one of the season so far. It just... I talk about those episodes that like feel like the show. Like when I think about what Buffy the Vampire Slayer is, I think about episodes like this.
It's fantastic. It's so good. I never want to watch it ever again.
There is some unpleasantness, but
at
least that unpleasantness represents a break in the levee. And
that's true.
This thing that's been plaguing us for the last several episodes has finally gone and out in the open. And it's going to be
released.
All kind of unpleasant fallout, no doubt. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think this was fantastic.
You're right. I guess the sort of angst and anticipation, it all being out in the open, no matter how unpleasant it is preferable to me.
And I gotta say, in terms of finding it out, they do kind of rip the Band-Aid off. They don't drag it out.
Right.
It happens pretty quick, and then we're pretty close to the end, and there's not a lot of fallout yet. So, in terms of all of that, I think it was handled the best way possible from a like a pleasantness perspective.
Yeah.
Man, love Spike. Love that he's back.
So great. Not to jump to the end, but like I found it difficult to find a worse line. I think I did, but like it was hard.
Yeah, no, I went the whole thing without having a worse line. I think I've got one that, I mean, I guess technically there is always a worst, even among good.
Yeah.
So I picked something that I don't feel super strong about, but I do at least have an entry for that part of the show when we get there. We watch these before we record the episodes. We do a watch along on Patreon. $5 a month gets you that. We also do a mini-sode called Trivia Crypt, where we do a deep dive into every episode. Fun facts behind the scenes. Sometimes we go on weird tangents. The one that came out last week, we covered the coffee commercials that Anthony had made in the UK that were sort of an ongoing soap opera.
There's also one, if you've been looking for a 10-minute review of The English Patient, you can find that on our Trivia Crypt as well.
Yeah, we've got BoneCon, as they call it, over on KK Sam for you over there. $5 a month helps us keep the lights on and all the good stuff we need to do. I don't have a marital grievance this week. I've actually spent the last several days in Las Vegas for a work thing, and so I've just missed you. So I wasn't around to be aggrieved by you.
No, but you certainly got started as soon as you got home. I had the kitchen spotless for 4 days. He came home. And it's a mess again.
There are like 3 plates in there. That's ridiculous. Also, okay, back on marital grievance.
What? Go ahead.
We had a whole conversation, and we've both done this, but it's fair game.
Yeah.
I get in the car this morning to go out to get milk for coffee.
Yep.
And I turn on the car and empty.
Yep. And you know what? I take full responsibility for that. I walked in the house going, I need to tell Eric that I got home too late to get gas, and I didn't, and I apologize.
Our new policy is supposed to be, if you're out driving and it gets empty, you fill it up, or at least put something in it before it gets home, so it's never just sitting in the driveway empty. We've both fallen short of that ideal, but I think since the policy has been instituted, it generally isn't the case, which makes it all a better gotcha when we catch the other one doing it.
Yes. So apologies
all around.
And now we move on. Did you bring a spell?
I did. I wrote one for this episode.
You wrote a spell. Let's hear that.
So, Willow definitely needed a delusting spell. I have issues with her lack of consent for who it needs to be done to.
That was troubling.
Because I think it would have been fine for her to delust herself. You know, all she needs is to not be participatory in Xander's hormones.
I don't think that would have done it. Can you imagine having a horny Xander who thinks you owe him makeouts coming after you when you've cut yourself off from those feelings?
No,
I think that sounds like hell on earth.
No, I think she would be like, I'm not into this. I disagree. I don't.
You don't think he'd constantly be nagging you about it?
No, I don't.
Pestering?
I don't, because I don't think Xander wanted to be doing it either. I think he just had no stopgap.
He could have.
because
He
Willow
would have
was-
responded to
Yes,
her pumping
I
the
do.
brakes.
I do. So here's what I wrote. I wrote one that's a little bit more simple in case you aren't able to get to the magic shop or you don't have a magic shop. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to wait until the last quarter of the waning moon, because that is where you can let go of things and release bad habits.
What's the longest you'd have to wait for such a thing? Let's say you started at the point farthest from that. What time span are we talking
28
about?
days. So I
So
do
that a
hear
lot of
you.
less
Yes,
can go down in 28 days.
I hear you, but it's a good time to do it. We'll say. Wow, I'm getting a lot of notes on my spell today.
Not notes,
A lot of
questions.
notes.
I'm taking an interest. I could just fucking check out and play on my phone while
Yeah.
you do these. I thought you would enjoy me being engaged.
All right. So
Asking the questions they might be thinking at home. That's my role here.
last quarter of the waning moon, you're going to leave some water outside. So you're going to charge some water under the phase of the moon that you want to work with. Then the next day, you're going to get a red candle and a pink candle. If you don't have one of those colors, you can always substitute white in, because it's kind of a catch-all. But red and pink. What you're going to do is you're going to light the red candle. You are then going to meditate on the phrase, douse this flame of lies and lust, light the candle of love and trust. You're going to meditate on that for 27 minutes, because 999 is a number that is associated with releasing of cycles, the end of relationships, things like that. So we're going to use the number 27, 9 plus 9 plus 9. Once you have done that, you are then going to put the flame of the red candle out with the moon water. Then you are going to light the pink candle, which is for love and trust, and you're going to let that burn all the way down. That's the spell, delusting
cool.
spell. Yeah, because in general, you don't really want to be, you want to try to avoid doing spells on other people without their consent. Now, I feel a workaround for it is to call upon goddesses, other deities, or other entities, other symbols to work their magic, to do their will. But I don't know that we should be putting our own. I'm thinking of a very specific spell where it's like, I know that there's a lot of people in the world that we want to do ill to and frankly deserve it, but you don't want to invite that back to you threefold.
Right.
We can talk about that later. There's plenty of deities, goddesses, symbols, animals, all kinds of things that you can call upon to do their will and just invite them to
just do what they do.
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
cool.
That's a little tangent, but that's my spell.
Rad. I loved it.
Yeah.
Shall we jump in?
Yeah. It's the SATs. Willow did not get a perfect verbal. I think the perfect verbal at that time was 800. I think
the
math
score
and
is
verbal was 800.
1600 total.
Yeah. So she got a 740, which is
fantastic.
awesome.
But again, I did fairly well on the SAT. We talked about it in our band candy episode, but I didn't prep for it. I didn't study. I didn't get tutors, whatever. So I was perfectly happy with my score. My score was good enough to exempt me from math in college, in university. So I didn't really care. I was fine with the score I got. I went to school with people who got perfect scores, though.
Yeah.
Like I had people in my friend group that got the 1600.
I didn't. In my opinion, Zillow is they're very touchy-feely out in the open in a way that, like, even if I didn't know they were cheating, if I was Cordy or Oz, I'd be like, guys, out of respect, could you just chill out a little bit? So Cordaz walks up and turns out they want to do a double date, which was interesting. We were trying to figure out, like, it seems weird that they haven't had a double date before.
I don't know that they haven't had a double date. I took it as this was the first double date since they started making out behind their partners' backs.
Okay. Maybe, I guess so. Yeah. But Cordelia is definitely like not into a double date. She's also not into bowling. Buffy walks up and we learn that Buffy tests really well. Buffy's options are open to her.
Yeah.
Which creates some tension in terms of, I think it was easy when she thought, oh, well, I don't really have any higher education options anyway. So being a Slayer having to stay in Sunnydale.
Yeah.
You know,
She was sort of resigned to that.
Resigned to that. And then she went and got a 1430.
Picking up on themes from the What's My Line episodes, where there's just sort of no future for you kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cordy also did really well on the SAT as a secret brain.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Everyone is sort of contemplating what it would look like if Buffy had choices. Faith is not in this episode. Faith really gets the short end of the stick. And we see something happen later in the season that, as I watch more closely now, feels much more justified in terms of how Faith is treated and viewed in this group. Now, she's an outsider. I'm not saying that, you know, they need to like immediately have this familial vibe with her, and not that she really has a personality that invites it, but there's a lot of sort of brushing Faith off unless she is of use.
Right.
And she doesn't really come up in conversation unless they can get something from her.
Right.
In addition, I know that they're like, oh, Buffy, isn't this great? There's another Slayer in town, so you can go pursue your life because Faith will take care of it. And it's like, has anyone talked to Faith?
Right. Fair. Because
what does Faith want to do?
Faith, I think, just as easily could make the case, well, hey, I was called in, but there's a glitch and Buffy's still the reigning Slayer, so I get to go live my life.
Right.
Now, Faith does seem to enjoy the slaying. She does kind of make it her whole personality.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting way to put it. Yeah, that she's sort of treated by the Scoobies the way the Watchers Council treats Slayers traditionally, which is go where we tell you, do what we need you to do.
And you're a weapon, not a person.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Bummed that Faith isn't in this. It's kind of glaring when she's not in stuff.
It is.
At least they talk about her in this episode. And I guess Band Candy all took place over the course of one night. I still would have rather had a line about why Faith isn't able to help. She's turning into Oz from season 2 a little bit. And then we also reference Mr. Trick, and he doesn't show up. I would have loved to see Trick versus Spike. Trick to be there when the vamp showed up. I just...
Girls?
Our cats are fighting. I hear some hissing. It just feels like they have a limit of how many characters they're going to write lines for.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a budget thing. Maybe the episodes, we don't have to pay certain people.
Could be. There was a pretty big fight in this episode.
They might have spent
some money
on that.
We had a shit ton of extras as vamps, which you hate to think that that's part of it, but
maybe
it
that's
was a
the
network
reality.
show.
Yeah.
Somebody else is back, though. Somebody else is in the episode, and we get a repeat of Spike
entrance
driving through the Welcome to Sunnydale sign.
Yes.
But he is worse for the wear.
Yeah.
This time. He is very, very inebriated and very, very sad.
He needed to see that sign that was hanging in the locker room during Beauty
Something
and the
about
Beasts. Girls don't want to bang dead guys or something.
True. Yeah. And he's like, beg to differ. I get banged all the time and I'm quite dead. So he immediately goes back to the lair, the factory
that Giles burned down in his rage and passion.
We now cut to Xander trying to convince Cordy to go bowling. He's standing at Cordy's locker and he sees for the first time that she's put up pictures of them. He's made it to the locker and he's really touched and I hate it and I have to move on.
And then something even worse happens.
Yeah. So then Waz comes up. They agree to go bowling. Zordy walks away. Oz is now at Willow's locker and he says, I have a gift for you and it's fucking adorable. It's a teeny tiny little witch Pez dispenser. And Willow is like, thank you so much. Fuck. Oz actually has my favorite line and it was tough to pick because there were so many great lines in this.
Yeah, you could have just flipped the script open and pointed and picked a favorite line.
But once again, it's his delivery and his character choices.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it more when we get to the superlatives because it was really beautiful and really heartbreaking in the context of this episode. We then go to the library and we find that Giles is super proud of Buffy and her scores. And Buffy thinks that Giles is going to, well, first of all, we learn he's going on a retreat. I think it's by himself.
Yeah.
I don't think the Watchers count. You know why I think it's by himself?
Well, because it's 5 minutes outside of Sunnydale.
5 minutes outside of Sunnydale. I don't think the Watchers Council thinks that there's anything worth retreating to in America,
right?
Southern California.
But he's got his little knapsack and he's got his little bedroll and he's got all kind of contraptions.
Yeah, he's gonna go do a whole druidic thing, which I thought was interesting for him to reference druidry.
Easy for you to say.
Because druids, I believe, are specific to an area of the world, but now I want to kind of look that up. Actually, we know very, very little of the druids, a frustratingly little amount. Most of the books I've read about it is like, so we don't know much, but anyway, that's for my druid podcast, where I just talk about all the things that I wish I knew about druids that nobody does. So he actually is the one who's also like, maybe you could leave. Let's enlist Faith. This is really where the conversation happens, where it's like there's a lot of talking about Faith and what she's gonna do so that Buffy can go have a life. And I just think she should be involved in the conversation about it, you know, because it would be very different if Faith was just like, oh yeah, I'm not trying to go back to school. I just want to be a Slayer. I love this. It would be great if I didn't have to have Buffy breathing down my neck about it and I could just do my own thing. And then I'm like, great, awesome, go live your life.
Yeah, we've got a lot of conversations in the YouTube comments. A lot of people don't think Faith is enrolled at Sunnydale, that she's just loitering.
Yeah. And
we weren't sure. We thought because she went to the dance that maybe she was, but they're saying Buffy bought a date ticket and she was Buffy's +1 to the dance.
All right.
So there's, as of yet, we've not seen Faith in a classroom.
Yeah.
We're not seeing Faith holding a book.
Nope.
So
later on, all we see is her breaking Buffy out of classrooms, but that hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
So we also have Giles having a really lovely dad moment here where he's extremely not on board with Buffy continuing to hang out with Angel, but in a very non-Hank move, he realizes like he can't put his foot down.
Because then she's just going to do it twice as hard.
It's hard. Also, she's a Slayer. So like he has to really sort of put aside his own fear, his own hurt feelings.
He has to finesse the situation.
Yeah. And Buffy assures him that there will be no rash decisions, she means, but there will also be no sexually transmitted rashes, which is the innuendo.
It's good when you have to explain your jokes.
I think I have a way that they could bone.
He said this in the watch along.
Okay, because here's my theory.
I thought it was just going to be a matter of just engage in kinks that Angel's really not into, so he never gets like he's never fully happy with what's going down.
Yeah, so that's similar, but I don't even think we need the kink. I think, but it may only work once. I don't know.
Your thing is a fail safe. But
well, here's my thing. What I was thinking was the anxiety of, am I too happy? Is this going to insole me again? Would prevent him. He'd be like edging the whole time in his happiness.
You think it's busting a nut that causes that?
No, I don't think it's specifically that, but I think it's like
he can't fully give himself to the moment. He's
exactly.
He
He can't fully give himself.
I think that kind of anxiety could lead to him not being able to
perform,
to achieve full stake,
right?
As it were.
But then Buffy does have the failsafe where she has a stake next to her, and if he gets re-ensouled, she's like, "Oh, well, did it once, do it again."
She's holding it against his chest the entire time.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh boy.
So
fun.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how these two can make it work. Zillow is like, "Oh no, bowling is going to be tough because we want to bone each other," and Xander's like, "No, we can do it. It'll be fine. But can I kiss your earlobe?" I hate it.
I think Willow's mostly she's focused on the Pez. She's ready to be done. Xander, I think, is not as far. I think she's 90% there.
Xander does say, "I wish we could make it all stop.
I wish I knew how to quit you."
Which is why I think that if Willow was not,
I pumped the brakes, then he would have.
I think he'd be relieved.
Yeah.
I think he'd be relieved because what I think Xander has practice with is
being rejected. Yeah, you're right.
So I think the problem is that it's mutual.
Is that he makes a move and she answers in kind.
Yes. Joyce is really excited about Buffy's scores. Joyce really wants Buffy to get out of the Hellmouth so that she has less opportunity to be a Slayer. She really wants Buffy to experience keg parties and boys, which I think is so cute because we already know that Joyce was a little bit of a party animal. We've seen teenage Joyce, which is just so delightful to me. I'm also wondering now, because I hate Hank so much, which we all know. Do you guys know that I hate Hank? He's
I think
the worst. I wouldn't be surprised if they met in college. She got knocked up.
Homecoming, my freshman year of college. I didn't have a date. So I got dressed up and I went anyway.
Then what happened?
I met your father.
He didn't have a date either?
He did. And that's a much funnier story that you will not get to hear.
I just don't think Joyce would pick Hank if she
Hadn't
had
gotten
her
knocked
druthers.
up.
Correct.
Yeah, no, I think that's accurate.
Yeah. Because she's just like so excited for Buffy's freedom in a way that feels a bit bittersweet with the way she talks about it. I love Joyce. So suddenly Buffy wants to stay. Suddenly Buffy is like, well, pump the brakes, everybody,
Right.
trying to get me to live a life, which is such an interesting trajectory from season 1 Buffy.
Right.
Who's like, I have a life. I want friends. I want,
The cinematography, the editing tells us what's going on because they're like, well, there's not like there's anything keeping me here. And
we
then
immediately cut to hot dudes reading. Have you ever followed that Instagram account? It's one of my favorites.
No.
It's just people snapping shots of hot dudes reading on the subway and stuff. Angel was reading by a hearth. It was wonderful. And we see that Spike is watching Angel read
Yes.
by the hearth, and he's very drunk and very loud. I was like, Angel, you don't hear this
Right.
nonsense outside your not door?
Also surprised how shoddily the repair job was completed to repair the door that Buffy and Faith flew through when they were fighting last week. Like, this was just made out of scraps and stuff. You feel like Angel's got all day and he's been around for hundreds of years. He could probably craft something pretty cool to put over that gaping hole in the place.
And he does, like, it seems like he could turn it into a meditation for
yeah,
sure.
no, I see him with the pencils marking it off and getting the saw
I can
going.
see. I
and-
guess you're right.
And I bet you Liam, for better or for worse, had to do some manual labor back in his time. That was his station before he was turned. So it just seemed weird that this was like so slapdash.
Yeah, that is true. Spike is yelling to the wind and then passes out
In the courtyard.
in the courtyard, luckily by a fountain and or pool of water, because he passes out until sunrise and his hand catches on fire and starts to sizzle. And I said this in the watch along. I bet this is a way that a lot of dumb vampires die.
Oh, sure.
Or even like vampires that like are newly vampiric
Uh-huh.
and don't know about the sun, and they don't even get a
Yeah,
full
there's no
night.
orientation. There's no anything. Yeah.
They're just like, oh my God, I came out of the end. I'm dead. Spike then shows up at the magic shop, which becomes a huge character later on. At first, he's like, let me curse Angel. The guest star in this was fantastic.
Yeah, the witch lady.
The witch lady shop girl was fantastic.
The scene was stolen, however, by a bit of set decoration that Ketrin was obsessed with.
It was this ceramic hanging bust. And by bust, I mean bust included. Okay. It's black and white, like painted ceramic, but then like sort of vampiric fangs and like a masquerade mask on it.
But then bright
then
pink
it's-
nipples.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't put it in the magic shop. That's fine. But the way that they positioned 90% of the shots, not just in this scene, but in a later scene, so that that thing is prominently displayed, I'm just like, I need to know what the choice was, because it was a very strange choice, being
Right.
that it is like nipples. I mean, I get that it's art, but it's just like, we have nipples like poking into our characters' ears as they stand by it. It was so it felt like a joke to me. Like
Yeah.
it felt like the set designer was playing a joke, or like maybe this is the set designer's side hustle. This is the art she makes, and she wanted to make sure that it was prominently featured, because it's not quite on brand for the shop.
Right.
Like I'm really upset by it. It felt irresponsible. It felt incongruent, and it distracted me, and I don't appreciate it.
For the rest of the episode, anytime we show a clip from this set, we're going to definitely point out the nips.
It's so, I mean, you found that weird, no?
I don't know that I would have clocked it if you hadn't said anything. And that's weird because I'm the one that usually goes into the minutia coma.
It's so egregious. It is so weird. I shouldn't be clocking it. That's the thing. I shouldn't be like focused on a singular set piece that is never referenced by the script at all.
Yeah, no one they don't even do like the John McClane thing where Spike like checks it out, like and gives it a thumbs up or something.
It's so weird. So, all right. Willow then comes in because she needs ingredients.
Well, Spike wants to give Angel leprosy.
And the shop lady says, we don't carry leprosy, which was yet another fantastic line. Willow comes in and she needs not ingredients for a love spell, but ingredients for an anti-love spell. And she rattles off a bunch of ingredients, one of which was, I wrote it down, skin croot, which I will be trivia crypting. I must know, because I'm like, the captions said skin croot. I'm prepared.
Skink root or skin croot?
That's exactly. So
okay.
I need to get to the bottom of that. The shop lady is very knowledgeable. She's like, raven feathers would do better than canary feathers, all of this stuff. Let me grab all your stuff for you. And the most egregious, upsetting, heartbreaking point of this entire episode was that all of these ingredients cost $15.80. That would be easily $120. In this economy, I was so upset. I was furious. $15.80. That's what a coffee costs today. And she got all kinds of shit.
Get a whole bag of stuff.
It is very expensive to be a witch these days.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
You're online sourcing, like, bypassing the shops and going directly. Every time we go to one of these, she's like, and who's your supplier? Like, not that, I'll still shop here.
Yeah,
I'm just curious. And she's like trying to bypass the middleman.
It's ridiculous. So, I do also ask who their supplier is so that I can make sure that they're sustainably sourced ingredients, just so you know. Willow then leaves and Spike says, well, I've got a better idea than this whole trying to get Angel's dick to fall off with leprosy. I'm going to go chase this witch, but first I'm going to have a shop girl snack. Now we go to Mayor Wilkins. Holy shit. Is this a fantastic actor?
This was so fun.
I almost wanted to just have his may be my best line.
I thought, spoilers, he may come up in mine. I almost want to do a like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead version of this show where we just stay on him the whole time and all the shit's going down and we would cut away from him very briefly and just get his entire reaction to everything that's happening.
I love that idea. That is so fun. And it's almost like a West Wing or Veep type thing because it's happening. We're also having to deal with politics.
Yeah, he's still got to go to ribbon cuttings and committee meetings, and then he's got to handle all the demonic business.
That is such a good idea.
Just get that actor on the phone. We should do our own little,
yes. Oh my God.
Do our own Cobra Kai thing on YouTube.
Holy shit. That is so funny. God, I love that.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Mayor's version.
Oh my God. I love it so much. Basically, the issue that the mayor is having right now is that Spike is back and it's causing too many problems. Mayor Wilkins has a bigger plan, but we don't know what the bigger plan is.
Yeah, he's
very
good at keeping it close to his vest. He's very vague.
We just know that he needs to sort of have a clear path. And if there's too many baddies.
Yeah, Spike's an unpredictable element.
Exactly. So his new sidekick is Alan, who is just some dude.
Is that not the same guy that was in the first episode with him?
I think it was.
With the stinky hands?
Oh, yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah. I meant it's not Mr. Trick.
Yeah, they reference Trick. And again, I guess you can only give so many lines to so many actors, whatever. But he's like, oh, have Mr. Trick send a committee. And then we see a bunch of vamps show up later. I just would have even if he just stands in the back and says a few snarky things and then runs away once the fracas starts, I would have loved to have seen him again.
Yeah, I hear you. I think it's probably a budget thing. And I think it has to do with the last fight. Back at Angel's vamption, he's making a fire, and Eric points out he almost sticks his hand right in the goddamn fire.
He goes right in there. I thought fire was one of the things that could kill vampires.
Pretty sure
this
it
guy's
is.
Just throwing his hand right in the middle.
Pretty sure it is. So Buffy's talking to Angel about college. It's a weird scene because not a weird scene, like a bad scene. Like it's an uncomfortable moment because both of them are clearly still in love with each other.
Right.
Both of them know that it's not good for them to be around each other.
Right.
Buffy wants Angel to tell her to not go far away for college. Angel wants Buffy to want to stay near him, but neither of them can say that because both of them know that they can't be together. So it's just a very...
Too many games.
Is it? See, this is what's interesting. This doesn't read as games to me. This reads as...
It is games, because if she's like, I don't want to go to college because I would need to be near you, but I need you to be the one to suggest it.
Right.
And he's like, I want you to want to stay to be near me.
I guess you're right.
But I need it to be your idea.
I guess you're right.
I can't ask you to stay, and you can't ask me if I want you to stay.
Yeah.
This is games.
I guess you're right. Yeah. So she ends up leaving because Angel sort of makes the right call begrudgingly of saying, like, if I'm being honest about like what is best for you, you should leave.
I know that was very kind and very selfless, and it made me like him even more to be like, no, for your life, for your big picture, you should go explore the world. You should go get an education.
Yeah.
Which is not what she wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, it's not really a question. If you know the answer you want, and then you ask a question, and then you don't get the answer you want, and then you get mad about it, games.
Yeah. You're right. It is. Yeah. Now we cut to Zillow in the lab. And this is very interesting because, again, I know all of these episodes so well.
Right.
But I'm diving into them so deeply, and I'm watching them so, like, I'm not watching them passively.
Yeah, you're not folding laundry whilst rewatching. You're taking notes. You're focusing on what's my take on every moment.
So, spoilers, Mom. For those of you that are new, my mom is the only one that I know is watching this for the first time ever. So I do try to just let her know that a spoiler is coming.
They don't watch the watch along, so I feel free to just dump spoilers in there.
That's fair. So I talked about it at the top of the episode that, like, you really want to try and avoid doing magic that comes from you on other people without their consent. Not just because consent is important, but from a purely selfish standpoint, there's a lot to suggest that karma and things being returned to you 3 times 3 is a thing that you need to contend with. So there's kind of a lot of reasons to not generate power from yourself that harms people or does things to them without their consent.
Now, what if it was just like you were putting a spell on your cousin to win their swimming meet or something? Could you get away with something like that without telling them?
Yes.
Or even there, you shouldn't.
Well, that can have something to do with the circumstances. That can also... It's tricky. I'm not going to lie. I mean, like, I still kind of grapple with the ethics around it. I mean, I literally just had a conversation with you about it, a spell that I did a couple nights ago where I was like, I feel vindictive. I would take pleasure in harming certain people. I need you to tell me how to get around that. So it's difficult.
But what did I say? I didn't say, well, here's how to be vindictive. I said, focus on justice, focus on peace.
Mm-hmm.
And like you've said earlier in the episode, call upon spirits and energies to do what it is they would do.
Right.
To arrive at a positive outcome.
Right. So I'm not saying that this is, it's very difficult. I understand why Willow is struggling. That's neither here nor there. What I find interesting is we saw her addiction to magic and the fact that it made her very reckless. One of the only places where Willow is incredibly reckless is in her magic.
Yeah.
And it started early. And I find it to be such an apt metaphor for drug addiction.
They were
as we
seeding this
know,
so early.
They were seeding it so early. It did not come out of nowhere. Xander figures out what she's doing and he's pissed. He's like, I have experience with love spells going wrong and you were going to do this without my consent. And Willow is basically like, I can't take this anymore, but the entire process is interrupted because here comes Spike. He wants to kidnap Willow to do the spell, but he takes Xander as hostage. He brings Willow and Xander back to the lair. Xander's still knocked out. We see that he really just needs a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So he says he wants to make Drew love him again so that he can break her heart, which is exactly what Xander did.
Xander wanted to do to Cordy, yeah.
This scene is burned into my brain.
Oh, yeah.
I remember where I was when I watched it for the first time and realized that Allison Hannigan is a powerhouse of an actor when Spike is holding like a bottle in her face. I mean, tell me your
it was her scared face, which we've seen a little bit of in previous episodes, is heartbreaking and terrifying. And she's not just playing a quirky, like she's not just playing the camp, oh, please don't hurt me vampire.
Mm-hmm.
She's genuinely terrified, and it's visceral and it's real and it's so effective.
I want to see her in like a gritty drama.
She'd be in a British crime procedural.
Oh my God. I would love that. Let her be the detective. She gets dropped in a small British fishing town. She's got to solve a crime. Let's do it.
Copyright. And she's partnered with a grizzled old detective who's at the end of his career, played by Anthony Stewart Head.
What I wouldn't give. Spike is really lamenting to Willow. And at one point you loved when Willow just goes,
There.
trying to appease him. And we see that one of the reasons that Drew broke up with Spike was because she felt he was too soft after entering into a truce with Buffy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which he did to save her life, but she didn't appreciate it at all.
Right. But also
Spike's also always been a little bit of a softie.
He's a softie. Willow looks at the stuff she has and she realizes that she doesn't have all of the right ingredients because she was doing an anti-love spell, which makes sense. So she's like,
do you think that was genuine, or do you think this was buying them some time?
No,
by sending
think
him on an errand.
No, I think it was genuine. I think she wanted to be done with this as quickly as possible. We then cut to Buffy jumping rope, and the cameraman needs to chill out a little bit, calm down, because it's a V-neck top that she's wearing and she's jumping rope. That's all I'll say. Cordaz comes running into the library being like, yo, our significant others didn't show up to bowling, and
which is so not like them.
And they find the spell remnants and also vampire remnants.
The
Fracas, yeah. And so Buffy is like, we need to go get Giles for help. Oz is like, cool, me and Cordy will go. It's like a 45-minute drive away. Buffy goes into the library to grab weapons, something, presumably. Joyce calls the library at that point to have more college talk, which I was like, this is such a mom move. Where it's like, you couldn't wait till I get, like, this is a phone call that you have to have right now with me, which is so funny. But this was such a great plot device to have her call. And then we hear in the background that Spike has walked into the kitchen behind Joyce, and Buffy hears it on the phone.
Because at the end of last season, they invited Spike in, and Joyce and Spike had a moment.
Yep.
And she doesn't know the Slayer business, and sometimes someone's a good guy, sometimes someone's a bad guy.
Yep.
And last she knew, Spike was on Team Buffy.
Yeah. And so I would also, along with our spinoff of the mayor, I would also like a Spoice spinoff.
Oh my God. Their chemistry is so fun, and it's so unexpected because the way it's shot, hello, Joyce, and he's there behind her. We're like, oh no, we're fearful. And then she's making him Coco and hearing his love troubles.
So sweet. And she's being such a great mom, because we're going to get more backstory about Spike's mom, even before a particular thing happened, a really heartbreaking scene. Spike was sort of a really like toxic, sniveling mama's boy, clingy, and it was a very like codependent. That was the word I was. A very like creepy codependent relationship. So like,
and she resented him, but wasn't in a position to share that with him most of their life. And then something happens where she does drop it on him that like, I want nothing to do with you.
Right.
So he's got mom issues.
And so to have Joyce be such like a positive momming influence is so, I just love it.
He asks if she's got little marshmallows for his hot cocoa.
And because I love that he wasn't drinking tea. I assumed he was drinking tea
And
until he asked for marshmallows. At this point, Angel shows up. Now, Joyce only remembers Angel as a fucking bad guy who is trying to kill everyone. Spike thinks this is hilarious, and him standing behind Joyce as Angel can't get in because his invitation was revoked. Spike's was not. And Spike is over there like, nanny, nanny, boo, boo.
And he's making little vampire faces and pointing and laughing. It's one of my favorite things that's ever happened on the show.
So funny. But then Buffy comes in. Then she goes, Angel, come on in. Poor Joyce is like, what is happening? I thought Angel was bad. I thought Spike was on our team. Then she hears that Willow's a witch and is Xander a witch? Like, poor Joyce. At this point, Buffy realizes in order for Spike to tell them where Zillow is, they need to go get the ingredients for the spell so that he will lead them to where her friends are. And
he's like, and if you kill me, you'll never find them.
You get in my way and you kill your friends, is what he says. Cordaz is driving. Oz slams on the brakes. One of your brake lights is out, by the way. He realizes he can smell Willow.
And Cordy's like, well, she doesn't even wear perfume. And he's like, werewolf.
We cut to Bangelike, who is it's this little trio, which is a fun little trio because they're in an alliance, but not really.
It's my favorite thing this show does is the unsteady alliance, a temporary alliance of people who have agendas that have briefly joined up and are going in parallel directions. But the dynamics are such that someone in the group can't stand other people in the group. But they have to find a way to work together. It's one of my favorite things.
It's so great. They break into the crime scene magic shop. This is a really great scene because they're looking for all the, ingredients. But this is another instance where we see how incredibly astute Spike is. He is an observer of people's souls and hearts. And
well, I made the observation because you brought that up during the watch along, and I was like, we see the way a lot of these vamps are when they first come out. They're just basically like big dumb zombies. They don't have any
I love
people
this
skills.
Point.
There's no street smarts, and they are quickly vanquished. In order to make it as long as vampires like Angel and Spike have, there has to be an added component of being able to read people, being able to sense danger, being able to maneuver situations. And so I think that it's not, our main characters happen to be the most, powerful vampires. It's that the reason they are the most powerful vampires and have lived this long is because they have this extra ingredient.
Yeah, I had never really thought about that before. I love that. So Spike observes Bangel together and calls them out when they're like, oh no, we're just friends. And he's like, you'll never, ever be friends. You'll be in love until it kills you both. And he actually says, love isn't brains, children. It's blood. Blood screaming inside you to work its will. Just there's William the poet. Like, it's just, he's so astute and he's so...
A man's got away with words.
And he's such a victim of like love in so many ways.
Well, the very next line is, I may be love's bitch, but at least I'm man enough to admit it.
Oh, just so great. It's so great. And that becomes a tool that is used throughout the series. Spike's ability to see things.
Mm-hmm. Buffy even calls it out at the end of the episode.
Back in the lair, Willow is trying to break down the door. Can you just talk about the scene? I don't even want to do it.
So Xander comes to, but he's woozy on his feet. She's trying to comfort him. She's stroking his chest. Their mouths get very close. They're basically discussing, okay, our options are we don't do what Spike wants and he kills us. We do what Spike wants and he kills us. Or he forgets about us and we starve to death. That's kind of what we're up against. Xander's like, I won't let that happen as long as it doesn't involve me standing up. And then their mouths are close and they start smooching, which I can't think of anything I want to do less when I've got massive head trauma and crusty blood on the side of my face than make out with somebody. But here come Cordy and Oz, and they catch them in the act. Cordy and Oz are both wounded, but Oz, because he's so centered, because he's got such inner peace, you could see it on his face. He goes, I'll deal with this later. We have to get out of here.
And Cordy, unfortunately, not able to.
Tries to flee, runs up the stairs, falls through the stairs. Piece of rebar goes through her gut.
Mm-hmm. And it was
which you said Frida Kahlo.
It's a Frida Kahlo. I'll have Eric plop the art right there. It's she was in a horrible bus accident that changed the complete trajectory of her life. She was in pain for the rest of her life. She was in a full torso and both legs cast, laid up in bed for months, maybe even like up to a year.
Wow.
And her only source of joy was painting. So she had like an easel set up in front of her. She could literally only do that. She had an entire like pole go through her whole abdomen. And I think through her spine. So
That's not great.
Yeah, it's just such an image that's burned in my brain that to then see that exact injury with Cordy was just kind of
trying to remember back to watching this the first time. I think I was pretty convinced that Cordy was going to die and that Xander was going to walk away with this guilt as this is their last interaction.
And Xander is not the kind of guy who would have ever had the capability of processing that in a healthy way. He would have turned into an absolutely irredeemable toxic piece of shit.
Fortunately, she survived and Xander instead became an absolutely irredeemable toxic piece of shit. So, I dodged a bullet there.
Back with Bangelike, they're stopped by a bunch of vamps who
this is Trick's committee, but also Spike recognizes them as like, this guy used to work for me, but they're like, Spike's gone soft. Open season.
Really great fight. They go into the magic shop, try to barricade themselves. Like, it's just, they're outnumbered.
Yeah.
Even though these are three very powerful beings,
I
very
noticed
outnumbered.
too that Angel and Spike don't even vamp face to fight these guys, but there is a number imbalance for sure. But they have an idea.
Yeah.
They see a shelf full of holy water. They've got a bookcase in front of the front window, but it's not going to hold for long.
Yep.
It's Michael Jackson's Thriller. They're coming through the walls at some point.
Yep. So Bangel grabs all of the holy water bottles and throws grenades.
Turns into a water balloon fight.
Yeah.
The vamps are not feeling it.
So they're safe. Buffy is then sort of holding Angel up, and Spike says, just friends. Yeah, no danger there. Like, he's just like, you guys are fucking full of it. Spike realizes that fight was all the love spell he needed.
How Spike got his groove back.
And he just is like, you know what? I'm just going to go find Drew. I'm going to capture her. I'm going to torture her until she loves me. Because that's the way that our relationship has always been.
Yep.
And beautiful. I'm so glad you found yourself, Spike.
I was bummed that he's not sticking around, though.
Wonder if he'll be back. So
probably not. Back
with Zordy. For all intents and purposes, guys, watching this for the first time, Cordy damn dies.
Because she's like, I can't see you. And then she puts her head to the side.
And then
we do a fucking funeral. And I was like, what?
The writers in that writing room just giggling to themselves, high-fiving, and just having a gay old time.
Can't even be mad at it because it was so well
great.
done.
And Buffy and Willow walk by, and Buffy says, so Cordelia's going to be okay?
Willow's lamenting that she didn't realize she could ever hurt this bad. She knows what she did was wrong, and she's really going through it.
Yep.
And I think I get the sense that she understands she deserves to feel this way. And she's,
for sure.
She's not trying to get out of it or find a way to not feel this bad.
I think she just is like, I super duper fucked up.
But Buffy's like, try groveling.
Yeah.
You might be able to fix this. And
Xander's going to try groveling. He goes to the hospital, comes in with flowers, and he's, trying to ask for forgiveness. Cordy turns to him
and says, fuck out of here.
And says, stay away from me. And he leaves. And
it's one of the first emotionally healthy things we've seen characters in the show do.
Yeah. Yeah. And as we said in the watch along, like, Cordy had the most to lose in this. Mm-hmm. She, for all her faults, we already know she was in love with him. We also know that she gave up one of the most important values in her life up to that point,
her social standing,
which was social status. She gave it up for him. And to be humiliated and disrespected in that way by someone that she sort of befriended in the humiliation is almost too much to bear.
So they've kind of in the last episode forced Faith outside of the social circle a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Without remembering what happens, I predict Cordy's gonna step outside of the inner circle a little bit as well.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a lot of free agents out there
who
know all their shit, know all the business, and could help, but aren't going to be inclined to.
Yeah,
and that's gonna make things crazy.
Yeah. So we have one more star-crossed pairing that we need to tie up loose ends with. Buffy shows up to Angel's in this new thing she's doing. She showed up to Faith's this way as well. She shows up in a very demure way with a tiny little purse held in front of her like a fucking pastor's wife. Like they dress her in this way that it looks like she is running the bake sale at the church. It is so weird to me. And it's the same energy in both scenes.
And I said that I think she was trying to dress down a bit so as to not inflame his lust. But she's also showing a little cleavage in her bare neck and collarbone.
It's just a vibe.
It's plenty to get the blood flowing.
It's just a vibe. So anyway, it's awful because Buffy says,
a lot of earth tones going on here too.
Yeah. Angel looks great in brown.
Yeah.
We learned in this episode. But brown is a better color for David Boreanaz in general. So he's better in earth tones.
And they needed
regardless.
to distinguish him from Spike. Like he couldn't be in his
long black coat.
Leather duster anymore.
Buffy comes in and she's like, one of the only people that knew from the get-go that this was not going to work was Spike. I don't know how he knew, but he did. She's like, we're not friends. We never were. We're never going to be friends. And he's like, I don't want you to leave. There has to be a way for me to be in your life. And she says, there is. Tell me that you don't love me.
No, I won't do that. Can't even say it. He can't even lie to her just to keep her around. He could never utter those words.
Yep. So she leaves. We then get a montage. The show does this type of montage very well, the sadness montage that they're going to do. There's another one that happens in a later season that is burned into my brain. Willow is crying with her witch pez. Oz is not playing the guitar at the Bronze. Xander is, putting books away in the library, and Cordy is in the hospital. Buffy is in a horrible pink leopard print.
I loved this. It didn't make my best outfit, but I thought it was great. It felt like first season Buffy, but I was here for it.
And this feels like an article of clothing that you would purchase, and I would say, you know what? It brings him joy.
I think that's the thing, is I would actually wear this.
I know you would, and I would just go, it brings him joy. It brings him joy, and his joy is my joy. That shirt is not my joy, but his joy is my joy.
It's read to me more as a jacket.
Sure. The only person who is living their best life, who did it my way, as they say in the song, is Spike is living his most Sid Vicious existence, driving down the road in
not being burned alive in his windshield blacked out car.
Whatever, but can't even get into that. And that's where we end the episode. God damn. This was
great
intense.
Great episode.
A fantastic episode, and I hated it / loved it. I hated it, loved it.
Sunnydale High Yearbook Committee meeting now in session. Who'd you have for best dressed?
Best dressed, I remember wearing those track pants that Buffy is wearing when she's jumping rope, and I really wanted that specific pair of track pants. But
Very
I always
Sporty
got
Spice.
but I always got like the discount version of them, and I always wanted the really cool pair that she had. So that was best
So what
dressed.
distinguished the cool ones from the ones you got?
Whether or not my mom bought them at Caldor or not.
But I mean, like, what was the difference?
They were fitted well.
Okay.
And they had like a very specific stripe down the side.
Fair.
Yeah.
I loved Angel's brown coat ensemble.
Oh yeah, that was great.
And then honorable mention his brown sweater.
Yeah, that
Putting
was
him
great.
in a dark color but not black, I thought was visually interesting and thematically interesting, and he just looked fantastic.
Agreed.
Would you have for worst dressed?
Her pastor wife tied with her pink leopard shirt jacket.
I dinged Willow in the opening scene with her pink cartoon shirt with her orange pants,
Which is so funny because I love the orange pants. So
yeah,
we
but not
both
with that
had
shirt.
something. Not with that shirt.
If she'd had a green shirt, maybe, or purple something. What'd you have for best line?
Best line. There were so many good lines, so I'm giving it to Oz again.
Ooh.
Because when she says, he gives her the Pez. She says, I don't have anything for you. And he says,
yeah, you do.
In that moment, we're so used to seeing the man then take a kiss from her.
Yeah, men are portrayed, and based on real life, as being transactional.
Yes.
With this kind of thing.
But instead, he says, yeah, you do. Touches her on the shoulder and walks away.
Yeah.
That just you being you is what you give.
Is my gift. Yeah. I love that.
So beautiful.
I got a tie.
Okay.
The mayor.
I swear, I would sell my soul for a decent short game. Of course, It's a little late for that.
So good. So good.
And then one we already talked about, Spike saying,
Love isn't brains, children. It's blood. Blood screaming inside you to work its will. I may be love's bitch, but at least I'm man enough to admit it.
poetry.
So beautiful.
What'd you have for worst line?
The fact that all of those witch accoutrements were only $15.80. When she says that'll be $15.80, I couldn't take it. That's my worst line.
Least believable thing in the show.
Yeah.
The show about magic and vampires and all
the
kinds of
fact that all of that was $15.80.
hobgoblins.
That she could have bought that with a crisp 20 and had change.
Gotten
is
enough
bullshit.
to go get coffee. I really didn't have a worst line, but just in order to check a box, one of the vamps.
Wait, hold on. Can I guess?
Yeah.
Was it all the baby talk?
Yes. One of the vamps accuses Spike of being soft like baby food, and then Spike rides the baby food metaphor for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah, he really does.
Baby like a supper, baby like a supper. Why doesn't baby have a nap?
Best move.
It was actually Xander kicking off the wall when Spike is behind him. I always give credit to Xander for his moves because he has no powers, no magic, no nothing.
No, that was great. It was almost mine. I loved when Angel tosses the guy into the garbage can.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good.
That was fantastic. Also, the Cordy funeral fake out. Best move by the fucking director. That was just awesome.
Yeah.
And then who'd you have for most likely?
Most likely to scour eBay and end up paying $1,000 for a werewolf Pez dispenser. Willow.
I think that's fair. I wonder if that's going to come back up. I wonder if we'll get either the crazy cartoon dog that Oz predicts is the closest they can get or an actual werewolf Pez.
Yeah.
I wrote, most likely to have learned his lessons and treat women better going forward, not Xander. That's all we got for you this time. Thanks for hanging out. We'll be back next week with another breakdown of Buffy, episode 9, season 3. We're already past the 30% mark of this season. It's crazy.
Wild.
Please give us a like. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment. Let us know your picks for best dressed, worst dressed, best line, worst line, best move, and most likely. And yeah, we've got a Patreon, as we mentioned, $5 a month. We do a watch along. We do minisodes. We also do watch alongs of adjacent stuff. We did around Christmas time. We did a watch along of Repo the Genetic Opera. You can find that on our Patreon. We post Ketron's spells there as well. Are we caught up on spells?
Almost, yeah.
Almost. Okay, cool. So we'd be able to go read the spells and try them on your own. Let us know how those work out for you. And while you're checking things out, please check out our other show, Kim and Ket Stay Alive Maybe, co-starring her and the hilarious Kim Burns, who's back from maternity leave. I did a few pinch hitting spots, but we're back to standard operating procedure over there. I produce that show and edit it. And it's on social media at KKSam Podcast. Comes out every Wednesday wherever you listen to podcasts. This show's on social media at Major Slayage Pod. That's it. Let's get out of here. And until next time,
Dust you later.